Hello, this is Coach Tim Campbell, and I'm your host for the Self-Made is a Myth, Make a Difference Together show, where we are talking with successful business owners about their stories of the journey to building their business. And because we know that achieving success in business is not something that we can do on our own, we're taking time to recognize the folks who have helped us to excel. I'm excited to have a fellow business owner from Indiana with us today. My guest is a very enthusiastic person, and you will get to see that while we're talking to her. In her downtime, she loves to travel. She loves languages, music, and sports. She is most proud of her beautiful kids who are great humans, and also her being able to help others, especially through the foundation that she's created to help kids in need. It is my pleasure to welcome Alejandra today to the show. Hello, Ali, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Tim, for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's start with having you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit of your personal story, like where you were born, where you live, about your family and your hobbies.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Aguascalientes and Querétaro, Mexico. I am the youngest of 7 kids. I have 5 brothers and 1 sister. And I'm very lucky to be part of a family of entrepreneurs. My dad is entrepreneur. My 5 brothers are entrepreneurs. So I just grew up lucky to have them as mentors, as advisors all the time, and as like examples. They are successful. And I worked several years for PricewaterhouseCoopers in Philadelphia and Deloitte & Touche in Mexico. I studied accounting and finances, so I was in the auditors department. And then after that, I was working for a German automotive company. And they had me for 6 years. So I worked for them starting in Querétaro, Mexico. And then I moved to South Carolina here in the United States. And then I moved to Germany and Hungary with them, which was very interesting. I did really enjoy that job. And then after that, I moved to Lafayette, Indiana, which I now call it my adopted home. I've been here. Yeah, I've been here now for 13 years.
Okay.
So in 2009, I moved here. And then 1 year later, I opened my first business, which is Team Cleaning Services. And after I opened that business, I'm trying to think how it goes. So I opened in 2011. And then try and remember what I do. In 2013, I had my daughter Isabella, and then in 2016, my son Alexander, which definitely became my most important roles in life. And I love being a mother of them. And I think that it just made me a much better person in everything. And I'm more willing to do everything for them. So then after that, in 2017, I opened Pink team in Indianapolis. Well, not open, I actually expanded over there. And it's just an hour away, So it was a pretty easy jump to do. Yeah. And that same year, I opened Pink Rentals, which is my second business. And then after that was in 2017, and 2022, I expanded again, Pink Team expanded again to Querétaro, Mexico, which is my hometown. Uh-huh. And then after that, 2022, Mexico, and then that same year, I opened a foundation, which is to help our orphan kids in Mexico. Yeah. And then this year, 2023, is a very interesting year. At the beginning of this year, I expanded again Pink Team to Texas and Georgia. So that's where I am right now.
Very cool. Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. So what is your favorite? You listed 4 things that you love to do. Of the 4, what's your favorite? Your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby will be, I have, I play piano and sax.
Okay.
And I run. And I love traveling. I really think that I do pretty much the running and the playing instruments is pretty much an everyday thing. I love them all. And traveling is like, it's just something that once you do it once, you never stop. I love it.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's a funny story that your family likes to tell about you that you'd be willing to share with us today?
Well, this is a story that I think that I love, and it's not as funny, maybe it's cute and funny. So it's when I was like 10 years old, I partnered with my sister Anna to bake cookies,
Mm.
and we were both very young, and that was our first adventure as entrepreneurs. And I remember, we were working day and night, crazy hours, and we really needed the money for Christmas presents. So we worked really, really hard. And I remember she was super picky, like I was all about production, 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 and she was all about quality. So she stopped the production, like putting the cookies away to give it to my brothers because they didn't meet the quality standards that she had. So I was like, no, we need to sell them. No, 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 we need to give it to my brothers. They don't meet the quality standards. And that was like crazy. But then after that, something very beautiful that happened is that my dad told me, you know what, I found clients for you. Like all my clients want to buy your cookies. They said they are really good. So I was super excited about that, So we were really hard to meet his requirements, because now 25 more baskets and another 25 and another 25. So we're working like crazy. And then, it was just so beautiful. And that happened. I continued to do those cookies every year, every Christmas for several years, probably until I finished high school. Yeah. And my dad continued to come and tell me, you know what, more clients want your cookies, they are buying your cookies, and etc. So until now, he has never told me that. I believe that nobody ever bought my cookies. It was just my dad giving them away to his clients, but he pushed that. It was beautiful. And then the other thing is, right now, my sister is actually biochemical engineering in food industry. And she's in quality, and she's a super taster. So now I can see why she was like that back
right
then.
Yes,
you can see. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us about how the business came about, and at what point did you have the confidence that you could run your own business?
Well, it all started, like in 2011. I thought, well, I want to open a business, and I said, well, just in case it is a not successful business or anything, I just want to be able to help. And so the first thing I did, I volunteered my time to clean houses for women with cancer for free. And the first worker that I hired was a disabled worker that was deaf. And I was thinking, well, if nothing happens from this, I did help people with cancer, and I helped someone with disabilities, and then it just started to grow, and then I started to be profitable. And then after that, I think that the moment that I became more confident is because there was that sorority house, that director that called me and hired us. Or me and my two workers that I had back then, or something like that. And I was really thinking about closing back then. And then she was very confident, like, I really want your work. So I really want you here. And once that happened, then the next sorority called, and the next, we were referred everywhere. And the next thing I knew, another fraternity, another sorority, and then a factory. So then we never, I just never thought about closing, anymore. And the more beautiful thing of this is that now, 12 years later, Patty is her name. She continued to be director in different sororities, and she continued to grow us everywhere. And still now she's in Bloomington, and we still clean her sorority now.
Oh, wow.
So that's nice. Yes.
That's a great story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the company. What's, say the name again, and what do you guys do more specifically, and how do you help people?
Yes, well, I have two different companies. One is Pink Rentals. Pink Rentals has around 35 rooms, and in between Querétaro, Mexico, Indianapolis, Lafayette, and West Lafayette. And the other business is the Pink Team Cleaning Services. That is the one that is a janitorial cleaning. Now we don't do houses anymore. We continue to clean for free or the houses of women with cancer,
Uh-huh.
but we don't do residential anymore. That is just because we want to continue with that, no? And it is pretty much it. And now I also opened this year the foundation, so it is not a business, but it is actually treated like a business
Sure, yes.
because the idea is to donate and to be able to help the orphans kids in my hometown Querétaro. Yes. Mhm.
Tell us a story where someone pushed you or inspired you that you could do it, even though maybe you weren't sure if you could, and the impact that that person had on you.
Well, that would be my mom, like I think that the most important moment of the business where I really thought I'm closing. I mean, it was the advice from everybody that was around me. I was pregnant with my second child, Alexander, and I thought that was it. I don't know why I'm getting sentimental here, but that's so weird. Um, oof. So I remember I was pregnant, and I was like, well, this is too much work. I already had one child, and the business wasn't like that. I feel like now I have more knowledge and so much support, but back
Yeah.
then I was kind of doing it all. And so I asked my brothers and everybody, which they are extremely good at advising, and they told me, well, maybe it's time to close, maybe. And because they saw me how much I was with the how much and how important it was my role as a mother. That's
Yeah.
what they saw.
Mm.
And so I did my last call. I called my mom just to tell her, well, what do you think? Because I knew she was going to tell me, I think it's time for you to close. And
Yeah.
when I called her, that was the last call. And she is like, you keep going. You're strong. You can do it all.
Aw.
I'm like, really? And I mean, really, thanks here, I stopped thinking that I couldn't do it.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think that's very powerful.
Aw,
Mhm.
that is so
Yeah.
awesome. Wow.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
and you thought she was going to be the one that was going to support your decision and
Yes. Yes, because she was a mother of seven,
yeah,
and she dedicated her entire life to us. So
yeah,
I never asked her. She's a very serious, and a woman, and she really doesn't give you advice if you don't ask her.
mm,
So I always ask my dad for advice. It's always my dad for the
yeah,
business everything,
yeah,
and usually for the heart is my mom. And this time I went for business to my mom because it was a combination of both. It was hard
yeah,
with business.
yeah.
And I'm still very surprised, and I actually asked her now, and she's like, I don't even remember. And
Aw.
I'm like, wow, you said that. Yes, yes, it's beautiful.
Wonderful. Alejandra, we know that business success doesn't happen in isolation. So tell us about your biggest challenge during the years and maybe a fellow business owner who helped you to get through that challenge.
Um, um, I think I have had several challenges, and it's been most of the times my dad,
Hmm.
the what that I always call for advice. um it could be the worst situation of my life, the worst, and he will always come with something very optimistic.
Mm,
Oh, it's good that happened right now because now you can do this and that, even if it's the worst thing ever.
yeah.
So it has been always my dad. I'm trying to think if I remember something of that, but um,
I like what you just said
yeah,
about him always having the bright side of it. So,
always. He
but,
will never say something wrong. I remember something now. When I was pregnant with my daughter Isabella, I remember thinking for the first time that I was going to close. So the second time was when it was Alexander, but the first time that I thought maybe I should close when it was I was pregnant with Isabella.
uh-huh.
So I got a call from our first factory in town, and I called my dad, and I was already with my little belly and everything, and I called him okay, we got this call, and I remember how wonderful, and I went, and he was like, oh, perfect, go and everything, and then you can do it and everything. So I went there, we gave them the quote, and then they told us, okay, we got you. And the first call, I mean, I jumped in the phone, Dad, we got the factory, and my dad was jumping with me. It's so I think that, these little moments where I thought maybe I should close, and then I got the factory. I said I didn't have to ask anybody should I close or not. I was like, I'm not closing. This
Yeah,
is perfect. We're
yeah.
growing. you know. Yes. So
That's awesome. I
yes.
love it. The having the positive, or that's great, because now you can do this, this, and this. Though the what I like about that is asking ourselves the question of what good can come from this, right? And it turns something from a negative to what's the good in this, right? What's the positive in this? So I love what your dad said to you in that situation in terms of turning everything around to the what's the positive. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yes, having that people around you, or at least it has been to me a blessing to have them, all of them, my father, my mom, my brothers, my sister are huge support for me. They are always giving me good advices, and there is always someone that will have a point of view or something that I didn't see that they
Yeah,
see as an opportunity or something.
sure.
So I
Yeah.
think I'm very lucky to have them.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. I'm going to ask you to pick three people in your business owner journey that you're most grateful for them being there, as part of contributing to your business's growth. So, who are those three people, and how they help you?
Um, well, I already said my dad. No, it's always my dad there, the first one, because he's just there for anything. And second person will be my sister Anna. My sister Anna has been there for me. Is my best friend. Is my everything. My cheerleader. My anything. She supports me any way she can.
Mhm.
So it will be here definitely. And then I have a sister-in-law that she been helping me in the finances department since probably 3 years ago. She used to be my boss when I was working in Mexico in Deloitte and Touch. And I introduced her to my brother Ivan. And then they got married. She's my sister-in-law, but she used to be my boss and she's very knowledgeable. So she continues to help me now.
Mm,
And I will say that she has um, helped me lately in the finances department tremendously in my own finances to see things that I didn't see before, to have more vision towards the future, to plan. I mean, and with like all these ideas of my best interest.
sure.
So those probably will be the three people. I know that my seven brothers, my five brothers, and that I'm not mentioning the in between the three will not be happy not to.
Well, there, now they just got mentioned. So there, we covered it all.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yes.
As you think about the next 3 to 5 years, what are the biggest challenges that you see that you're going to face in getting to the goals that you have for the business? And who are the types of people that you're going to need to help solve those challenges?
Well, in order to grow more, definitely it's needed the. I think that the difficulty will be to be able to grow organically, and so to have a better, not to try to grow too fast or
Mm,
exponentially. And I mean, I love and I'm ambitious and I love the growth, but I think that the best will be, or the challenge here is to continue to grow organically. And in order to do that, I think that I need the people that is, positive and good attitude, and that's willing to continue to change and the challenge and the growth, and without feeling out of too much. Well, everybody feels out of their comfort zone with the changes, but people that feels like they can continue to challenge to go through those changes without feeling uncomfortable, let's say.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think that would be.
wonderful. Last question here. So, Jim Rohn, great business guru. One of the things one of his quotes is that we become the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So, as you think about that quote, what advice would you have for business owners who are trying to do it on their own, who feel like they shouldn't ask for help or can't ask for help, and they're just going to do it by themselves? What advice would you have for them?
Yes, well, according to my experience, there is there is a big help out there. For example, in the Chamber of Commerce or in the different groups that sometimes we don't reach out because we are embarrassed, or
Mm,
at least I was. And I think that it is very important to reach out and find help, find mentors, find people that is positive and already went through that same path, coaches. But I really think that sometimes our embarrassment make us, or at least me, it made me stop from reaching out for help. And it is very important to, if you have a dream, just to continue and be there for that dream and stop those bad thoughts every time you think of, maybe I won't be able to do it. No, 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 no. Yes, you will be able to do it. There are challenges. Otherwise, everybody will be doing it.
Yes.
So that is the idea, no? To continue to dream and keep going and surround yourself with that good group of people. And another thing that I found now is that the giving. I believe that if I would have not volunteered my time at the beginning to do the cleaning for free for women with cancer, and I didn't really know where I was really heading, like that the company was going to grow so much, and if I would have not done that, maybe Pink Team wouldn't exist right now. So I think that being kind to others, giving, it will always come back to us again.
I really like what you said about we can be embarrassed to ask questions, or we can almost get into our minds of, well, I'm the only one struggling with this, so I'm not going to ask because everyone else has it figured out. That imposter syndrome of we can get paralyzed by, well, what will people think of me? And my goodness, I'm the only one that's struggling with this. The reality is that we're all struggling with the same things and we're all trying to figure it out, right? And businesses, as you said, owning a business is not easy. So, right, the more that we can be honest with ourselves about our struggles and ask other people for their experiences and what they've done to overcome some of those struggles, can be a tremendous benefit for us personally, as well as for our business. So thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot of people are just afraid of being thought badly of or judged because they have a question.
Exactly. And when someone else shares their experience, sometimes they save us maybe a year, maybe they save us 2 years just by telling us, I wouldn't do that, or I already did that and it was a big mistake. I put 2 years into that and it didn't work. Oh, wow, you just saved me 2 years.
Right.
So it really is worth it to ask the question, to just, be embarrassed and ask it. Yeah, what are you gonna lose? You lose more when you don't ask anything.
Yeah. And you mentioned giving. So I've not met any business owner who wasn't willing to answer a question from a new and upcoming business owner, because we've all been there, right? We know what it's like to be starting out, and we're more than happy to give some advice to other people because we've been there.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
You mentioned resources in the community. So, the chamber is a great example. People don't realize all of the resources that are there, do they?
And actually, for example, once you start growing more, there are so many different associations. For example, the Business Networking International, or right now I'm part of the Entrepreneurs Organization. That's another association that is really nice. There is a lot of business owners or entrepreneurs that get together and we share different experiences and help each other with contacts and I also think networking helps. I am not that good at networking, but I actually think that if I would have been better at networking, maybe I could have gone a little faster in this route.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's tons of people out there that are willing to lend a hand if we're just brave enough to ask.
It is truth. Yes, it's truth.
Alejandra, it sounds like you've been blessed with some incredible people who have helped you in your journey. If they were all here on the show today, what would you want to say to them?
Oh, no, definitely. I wouldn't be able to be where I am if it wasn't for all the help that I have gotten. It definitely changed from being, I don't think no one can really get to where we are alone. We need the help. We definitely need the help. And if it's positive people around, it is even, it is what we need.
Mm,
Mhm.
wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It was an absolute pleasure speaking with you today.
No, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Tim.
To everyone who tuned in, thanks for listening to the Self-Made is a Myth show with your host, Coach Tim Camsell. Be sure to help spread this movement by liking the show and posting about it on your social media. And to join our movement, go to bemadtogether.com. All right, folks, that's a wrap. Make sure to pay it forward, and we'll see you all next time. Take care.